Here we go.
Hey, it's National Chris Fitzgerald Birthday Celebration, Appreciation, and Awareness Month this month, Fitzy.
A month? All right.
It's a whole month. Hey, you know what would go great with your birthday celebration month?
What would go great with that?
A new house.
A new house, that would be good.
Yeah,
Go tell my wife.
it's still a great. You let her know. Let Holly know. Still a great time to buy or sell a home. And when you do, we recommend our friends from the Wisconsin Lakes team. Anyone can say that they're an agent, but not everyone treats their clients as they would like to be treated, and that's what Aaron and Katie do. Find out more by visiting lakesteamwy.com. You know what would probably go really well for your new house, Fitzy?
What?
A kitchen suppression system.
Probably, if I had a new
Don't
house.
tell Holly that I said that. If you cook, right? I'm sure she's
Yeah,
fine.
if I could.
Yeah, we all know that industrial safety sells and services practically everything that goes into a fire station and on a firefighter, but they also provide kitchen suppression system maintenance, inspection, and installs. For more information about this service and to see all of the services from industrial safety that they provide, visit their website at industrialsafetystore.com.
There we go.
Fitzy, we couldn't do our show last week. Had some technical issues, couldn't go live. So that was frustrating. How was your birthday?
It was good. I didn't do much. I just enjoyed it and worked a little bit in the morning. And then we didn't do our show, so I helped my daughter take some stuff to Eau Claire and then had supper and didn't do much. Rested up, relaxed for the fair.
Well, I've always said that you were born at the age 40.
Okay.
And I've known you for 7 years when I started riding wire, so I'm going to say you're 47. Am I close?
I'm 49.
Oh, well, you're born the age of 30 or 42 then. That's how I'm going to remember going forward.
Okay.
Oh, we're supposed to be going. Sorry. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, July 19th, 2022. Oh, there's something weird going on. Can't get anything to work. Joining us today is our good friend and friend of the show, firefighter, business owner, and mayor of St. Croix Falls, Kirk Anderson. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work in roofing, garages, siding, window installations, kitchen and bathroom remodeling, vinyl and hardwood flooring, and they can even build your home or business from the ground up. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice having Kirk on this morning. Kirk, I asked if we could have you on this morning. He said no, and I'm like, that's it. I'm making an executive decision because he didn't want you on.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I wanted to say happy birthday to our good friend. I didn't see the show last week, and I know you had some technical difficulties.
Because that's why you didn't see the show last week. We couldn't do it.
I'm always aware.
So we always like to start off the show with, positive things that are going on in our lives. So Kirk, we'll start with you. Give us something positive going on in your life.
Yeah, well, we just finished up Wanigan Days, which is our citywide. It's actually a two-city because it's combined with Taylor's Falls over in Minnesota. And so we had a bunch of folks from Chisago County visiting our town, and we were visiting their town. It was 3 days of fantastic fun, a lot of great bands, delicious food, the entertainment. The weather was a little warm, but that makes for a great event. And it was just overall just a great opportunity to hang out with 10,000 people in our small little town. We had a lot of people here, and so it was a lot of fun. Get out and shake some hands.
So you don't have 10,000 people in St. Croix Falls, but that's just how many people showed up.
Yeah, that's kind of the estimate of how many people show up over the weekend for all the different events. It's a 3-day weekend.
So since you are technically a political figure, you're an elected official, are you like Fitzy where it's, man, I love these things? Or is that one of those, I hate this part about my job. I don't want to go to these things.
Yeah, so I wore a couple different hats. I was a participant in the parade. I got to ride on a beautiful Corvette that was provided by someone locally. And so the mayor of Taylor's Falls and I shared a Corvette ride from St. Croix Falls into Taylor's Falls. I'm on the fire department, so I served steak on a stick, which was really popular and we sold out of that by Saturday evening, and then the rest of the time you're just enjoying the bands. They had a tribute band to Johnny Cash that is
Nice.
very popular, and boy, that guy doesn't necessarily look like Johnny Cash, but he sounds spot on. So if you're a Johnny Cash fan, this
I am.
Church of Cash is fantastic. And then I didn't stay for AC/DC. I was past my bedtime.
Wait, they're still going on? I thought their lead singer, that's a whole other thing. I thought their lead singer isn't singing for them anymore. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, this is tribute bands. So it's just people that dress up like them and put on a great show.
Awesome.
So overall, it was an A+ for the weekend.
Oh, well, see, that's positive. And anyone that's watching, if you have something positive going on in your life, let us know in the comments. Fitzy, how about you?
Well, of course, what's Kurt supposed to say to that question? Do you like parades or do you not like parades? Come on, Ben.
Right.
Of course we love parades.
You never know. See, if you have to ask the question, though, because they're like, well, I mean, I kind of have to. Then, his opponent can use it against him, because that's what we like doing on this show.
Right.
Yeah, they'll use it off this show, yeah.
Right.
Quoting the show.
Quoting the show.
So what'd you do this weekend, Fitzy? I'm assuming Wait, wasn't Donut? Was that this weekend?
No, the fair's this weekend. Donut
Oh,
Dash is Saturday. So we'll be running the race and eating donuts. I ordered 150 donuts yesterday. So
Atta boy.
yeah,
How many are you going to
right.
get for the fair or the Donut Dash?
There's only 14 runners, but I ordered 150 donuts. No, there is. We're actually our biggest race ever. So we're over 138 runners, I think, already. We'll get into that in a little bit. But over the weekend, what did I do? Went to the Turtle Lake Parade. Prairie Farm Parade. I did Turtle Lake the weekend before, Prairie Farm Parade on Sunday. Got ready for the fair. Relaxed on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah. Just relaxed and hung out. So
Very
that's
cool.
about it.
See, that's
Yeah.
it's positive, though.
So,
Right?
Chris,
Oh, yeah.
can you tell me
It's all
what
positive.
do you do with a donut dash? Is that you hold it, you have to eat it?
No, you get a
Never done.
donut in the middle. It's a 3-mile race.
Every 20 feet, you got to take a bite. You want to see how many people can make it to the end.
And it works out perfect. The 1.5-mile mark is right in front of the Rice Lake Police Department. So we put donut holes in water there. So in the 1.5 miles, you get a donut. And at the end, we have these big marketplace food donuts. And then you get a donut at the end after you cross the finish line. So it's called the Donut Dash. And the shirts just say, I'm just here for the donuts. Because that's obviously what I'm there for, because I don't run the race, because I'm in charge of it, so I can't run. Otherwise, I would love to run the race, but I can't. I have to be in charge of it. So
Sacrifice for the team.
yeah, I'll sacrifice it. I got to guard the donuts.
Somebody has to. All right,
That's
so
right.
we have a few things, press release I want to get to, and articles. So these are anything that you have sent out or we have written a story on. And one of them, our headline was "Man Sentenced for Fleeing from Barron County Law Enforcement." Fitzy, this may be a tough one for you to talk about.
I think I can. I think I'll get through it.
All right. So, would you remind people what this story is about before you let me know how you feel the sentencing was?
This was the one where he had a high-speed chase during Aquafest of last year, and that when he came through the city, I sacrificed myself and chased after him on foot after stopping him to make sure that he didn't crash into anybody. And that's where I might have fell and got injured.
We don't say fell. We just say injured during pursuit. See?
Oh, yeah, injured during the pursuit.
Positive
Yeah,
way
that's
of saying it that
That's
way.
right.
Yeah, Kirk, he realized quickly that chasing after bad guys is a young man's game.
I was only 48 at the time, too. So
Yeah, 48. Right. Yeah, and you got pretty significantly hurt, didn't you? I think it was your elbow.
I got my elbow and my hamstring,
But your elbow was hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, and my elbow. I was in a sling for a while during last year's fair. I was actually in a sling and I couldn't run, and I still can't run, but I'm healed up pretty good.
That's got nothing to do with your arm, right? Got it.
Yeah, I do remember that story, and I sent my condolences over to Chris. That
You did, Kurt.
he fell.
Good
job,
I
though.
don't know if you bring it up or not, but we're pretty transparent. So there was a sentencing there. I forgot to write all that stuff down. Obviously, it's on our website. You had seen it, I know, because I remember I actually sent you the link to it right when I put it up, and I'm like, too soon. So what were your thoughts about the sentencing?
I just thought it was ironic that he got sentenced on my birthday.
Oh, it was your
It was. It
They were
was.
waiting just for that.
Yeah, they were waiting. But because they said, you want to go to the sentencing and talk, and I said, no, I don't want to go to the sentencing and talk because technically I was a victim in that case.
Victim impact statement.
Yeah.
Right.
Victim
Oh wait,
impact
that
statement.
actually is a thing. No, so did you do that? Because that's a thing.
I wrote one. I wrote one into the
Okay.
fact that how many people he endangered due to it being Aquafest.
Hmm.
I'm not so concerned about myself, but he put a lot of people in danger driving on the streets that he drove through and the alleys that he drove through, and that's what was irritating. And he got 2 years prison, 3 years probation after that. So I was happy with that. It had nothing to do with the injury to me. He wasn't even charged with that. Excuse me, because my injury wasn't part of it was part of the chase, but that's just the dangers of our job in law enforcement. So he couldn't be charged with that because, in my opinion, he caused that, but he didn't cause it because, if he wouldn't have ran, I wouldn't have got hurt, put it that way. But that's not how it works in the justice system. So he wasn't actually charged with injuring me, or he couldn't be charged with, recklessly endangering, causing injury because my injuries happened while I was in foot chase.
So you're
Disagree
okay with the
that.
sentence? Because
Yeah,
I was
I'm
kind of
okay with
okay
it.
with it when I read it.
Yeah, 2 years. He had a lot of other things compacted
Yeah.
together, but I think it was good. Anytime we can put someone in prison for running from the police, I think that sends a good message out. Like I said, he had some other stuff going on, but I'm okay with that sentence.
All right. Next one I have here is our headline was, and this was the updated headline: 32-year-old dies of apparent drug overdose. Suspect in custody. You had sent out a press release. I don't know when it was, a week or two ago, since we're off last week. I don't know if it was in the last week or not. And with a photo of this person of interest. Right? I don't recall if you even used the word suspect, or maybe you did. Maybe it was just like subject or something. And I think it was the next day that person was in custody. You put out an updated press release there. Anything that you want to touch on with that story?
And the fact that there was a 32-year-old girl that died, that one was 32, I think, from what we believe to be our initial investigation, and I put that in the press release that it was heroin. I think the last one, we had a 24-year-old girl die about 2 months ago, and that's going to happen more, and unless we do something about this. And I don't have all the answers to this, but people need to start accepting responsibility for their actions. And there is a safe haven law, and I took some heat on Facebook. And
I saw that. I'm like, yes,
and
finally, because I'm always the one getting the heat for everything. And I'm like, don't kill a messenger, man. I'm just reporting on it. But I saw that. I'm like, ha. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't actually feel that way.
I know you didn't, but I don't. And at first it bothered me, and then I said, no, wait a second here. Everybody was sad because that guy has kids, and his kids are seeing some of this stuff, and he turned himself in and blah blah blah. Well, he could have stayed at the scene, and I can't really talk about it.
Sure.
He was there, and then he wasn't there, and magically he floated through the air somewhere and disappeared. Well, he said he just went to grieve and whatever. I don't agree with that. He should have stayed there and let us finish our investigation. We wouldn't have to put his picture anywhere. But he didn't turn himself in. He had probation. He had a probation warrant, so he was a wanted person, not for our crime, because he did call 911, and everybody said, well, there's a safe haven law, meaning if you're on drugs and you call, or you and I have been on drugs and you call, and we get to the house and I'm having an overdose, and they get me and you have drugs sitting on the table, you can't be charged with that under the safe haven law.
I didn't know that. First of all, that's a really good law.
Well, it is, in the fact that it
not.
might save people. But the second part is that, it's, so I don't agree totally with it.
What don't you agree with
Depending on
that? Kirk, well, first, Kirk, what are your initial thoughts on that? Are you familiar with safe haven law?
Yeah. So when I go to a scene as a firefighter or EMT, the statement is always that we're not here to cause any trouble. We just need to fix the problem at hand. And so it does loosen up the person most of the time, that they'll talk about what was taken and what the issues are. I think it's interesting that as we go to more and more calls that involve drug overdoses, that the users have their own Narcan and are using that before we even get there. All of our officers in the city of St. Croix Falls and then the sheriff's department, they all carry Narcan. And in the last year, I've seen it used more times than in the previous 5. It's becoming epidemic and very unfortunate because it's happening.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Narcan, Washburn County, this was like 3 weeks ago. They sent out, and I can't remember which department, health department maybe, sent out a press release, and we posted it. It was about Narcan. It was, I think, if I recall, it was like free. You can just stop in and get some Narcan. And when they sent that, I'm thinking, oh, that's a good idea, right? Like, whatever. We get press releases, put them up, nobody cares, fine. But, it's our job to post those. Holy buckets. Everyone was like really irate and upset. What was that? Oh.
It used to be that.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was something weird happened. I'm sorry. So I was just really surprised how many people were upset that this stuff was free because they're saying that, you shouldn't even be doing drugs. Well, I get it, but we're trying to save a life here. I don't know. I'm totally fine with having free Narcan. My goodness.
Well, we know that nothing's really free, so someone's paying for it. So, from the person who has to make the budget, I'll say that our police department would spend an awful lot of money purchasing Narcan because up until there was some, I don't know if it was state grants or federal grants, it wasn't free, and every time it was used, we would have to go to the hospital and get another dose, and it would cost us hundreds of dollars per, I don't know if it was per time, but it got to be kind of its own budget item. So it's definitely nice. I guess the idea is that you give someone an additional chance to find help, and that's notable, and I think that's important. But it's true that nothing is truly free. It's going to come out of someone's pocket at some point, and the faster they can get help, the better their lives will be.
All right. So,
I got 2 more things on that.
Please go ahead.
So I agree, and I like the safe haven law, but I also think you should be, because I think Kurt said it right. It's there to get help. That's what Narcan's for. But I think if you're going to use that law as your crutch, that I called for help, so you can't get me in trouble. So all this heroin here you can take, but you can't get me in trouble for it, or fentanyl or whatever it is. But I think the only way you should be protected under the safe haven law is if you go get treatment. So, and I understand that's a cost too, and Kurt makes a good point on costs, and everything costs money. But I think there's that. And the second point is, if you're going to do drugs, we're going to make an example out of you. And if you have a family, think about it now, because we're going to put you on Facebook, we're going to put you on here, and we're going to, if we arrest you or we have a charge or we have something, people are going to know about it. I don't want people going to your house and buying drugs if you're a drug dealer. And if there's one thing I can do, if I can put your name and your address up there, and maybe not your address, but your name, saying don't buy drugs from this guy because we're watching him, we're going to do that, because that's the only thing I have right now in our tool belt to help us stop this problem. And it's going to be a big problem, and people are going to die from this in Barron County. More people are going to die from this. And I'm tired of my officers going to scenes and they do CPR and we land a helicopter and we do everything we can, and we can't save this lady the other night. And it's irritating. It's frustrating for our cops when they are sweating doing CPR. The firemen that come to help. I mean, it affects more than just you because you wanted to get high. And so I understand people need treatment. I understand it's an addiction. But if you're to that point where we have to get involved before you want to go get help, then you get to play with our rules and not your rules. And so I feel bad for the families. I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for a lot of people. But I also need to protect this community. And if I can stop one person from doing that, we're going to do it.
And I've been to too many calls where the family doesn't step in on the behalf of the person, whether it's a parent or a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. But we go to calls where very often there are kids' toys in the residence, and you are separating kids from the CPR, or you're separating kids from a body, and it's just something that they shouldn't have to see. And this is the responsibility of the individuals. And you might have to step in and intercede on behalf of that person who's addicted to get them help, and be willing to do that. And so many times they're unfortunately not, or they're part of the problem.
Yeah. So I got to interrupt you here real quick. So I kept hearing these dings, and like nobody was there. Like somebody was, what do we call it? A guest bombing us, right? Where they just kind of come on. And this is like the third time now. And hold on. Looks like we have a surprise guest. Back to live
We have a
mode.
surprise guest.
Let me know if you guys can.
Adam Jarchow.
We have a surprise guest.
I thought maybe it was
Hey guys, happy Positive Tuesday!
everyone.
I kept hearing these dings. I'm like, what is going? Why does it still show in preview
What's
mode?
up, Adam?
Sorry about that, live mode. There we go. Adam, good morning. How are you? Where are you?
I am in Madison. I'm right outside the state capitol. I've got a TV interview in just a little while, so I came down after a fundraiser in Ladysmith for Representative Eggman last night, and have a full day of campaign stuff today, but wanted to wish you guys a happy Tuesday. And I thought, in the spirit of Positive Tuesday, I would say something positive about each one of you guys.
What?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So who do you want me to start with, Ben? Who gets the first positive accolade?
well, Kirk is our guest, so let's go with Kirk.
All right. I've known Kirk for many years. He is, first and foremost, a good, solid family man, one of the best husbands and best dads that I know, and it's the best compliment that I can pay any man, that he is a good man, a good husband, and a good dad, and he is all of that.
Well, if that's
thank
the
you.
best comment that you're going to be able to pay everyone, then I guess Fitzy and I are going to get the same one, so it's going to be not as good of a compliment, but all right. You do Fitzy next.
It's all downhill from there, buddy. All downhill from there.
Well, that was incredibly
Who's
kind
next?
of you. How about Fitzy?
You or Fitzy?
Fitzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys in law enforcement, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are having the most difficult couple of years that I can imagine, and the positive hard work that you do for your community to keep them safe and to continue to do it with a smile on your face and positive energy is an inspiration. I'm not inspired by many people, but I'm inspired by you, Fitzy. Keep up the hard work.
What? That's an incredible compliment.
That was awesome. Thanks. I'm inspired by you. Keep working hard.
All right, say, can you? Do you have a couple of minutes? Adam?
Yeah, do you want me to say something nice about you, or should we skip
no,
you?
skip me, please. If that
No,
means,
I'm going to say something nice about you.
frick.
There's something that I have to say nice about you.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
So the nice thing about you is the entire time that I was in the legislature for 4 years, 2014 through 18, I heard nonstop from my constituents that they hated that we didn't have news in northwestern Wisconsin. You have brought Wisconsin news to northwestern Wisconsin, and it is a valuable service, and I appreciate what you do.
Well, okay. I'll take a business compliment. Thank you. That was extraordinarily nice of you. And as long as you're on, I'm sure you. Well, it sounds like you're just coming on to say something positive, spirit of Positive Tuesday. But do you have a couple minutes, or do you have to go?
Sure. Yeah, I've got a couple minutes.
Okay. So this morning I put a. Oh shoot. It was on our website, so every morning we do this U.S. and World News, Wisconsin headline links thing. We don't put it on Facebook for no particular reason. We just take links to other stories. And this morning, there was one, hold on a second, it was in our Wisconsin links. The headline was, GOP Attorney General candidates clash over open records request. This was an article from Cap Times. And it says a 5-month-old open records request has become a point of contention in Wisconsin's Republican Attorney General primary. And then you even had a quote in here. That's why it just reminded me of that. So tell us, what is going on there?
I think that story was about an open records request that's been sitting in the Fond du Lac District Attorney's office for a very long time and hasn't been answered. And the media wrote about that. Obviously, one of the things that the Attorney General does in the state of Wisconsin is enforce our public records laws, and so it's important that we follow those laws. I mean, transparency and accountability are very important for all elected officials. So I think that's what that story was covering, was the long leg in responding to that open records request out of the Fond du Lac DA's office.
Yeah, I think it said something about 5 months. It was a 5-month-old, and they still haven't gotten all the records that they had requested, or somebody, a citizen in Wisconsin requested. I don't know who that person is or whatever. So do you have like a view on that? Because if you were kind of quoted in there, oh shoot, I already put it down. I think you even had a quote right in there, and it was not really favoritive, right? It was a what in the world's going on. So what is your view on that? What is your stance on the fact that open records requests are not getting provided in a timely manner?
No, I mean, you've got a bunch of local elected officials on here who are subject to the public records law. Kirk is. He knows how this works.
Fitzy.
You get an open records request, you have to respond. When I was in the legislature, you get a records request, you have to respond. The sheriff knows when he gets a record request, you have to respond. That's the law in Wisconsin, and it's a good. We have that law for good reason. And people deserve transparency in their government. They expect transparency in their government, and they expect that the law will be followed. And the law says that you have to respond as quickly as possible, as reasonably possible. 5 months is an awfully long time to turn over no records at all. So it's disappointing that hasn't happened. It should be a model of transparency as opposed to the opposite.
As an attorney, not my attorney, but an attorney, am I subject to open records requests? Because if so, I'm going to have to go and delete a whole bunch of things.
You should get a lawyer, Ben.
First of all, you're not subject to open records requests, but if you were, deleting those things would be illegal, so don't do that.
Okay. But I'm not subject to it.
Kirk is not allowed to delete his... Kirk can't, if he gets an official email in his box as mayor, he can't delete that. It has to be preserved so that people can see what Kirk is doing as mayor. That's the entire point of our public records process.
All right. And do you have time for one more question? Totally dominating the show, but that's okay. Is it all right? One more question?
It has to be a positive question, though. It's positive
yes,
Tuesday.
It is.
Nobody wants to talk about public records.
I do. I totally do, actually.
None of us do.
Your campaign. So the campaign finance report stuff came out the 15th, so just last Friday, and you had raised in the last 6 months, it was like $450,000 or something. Your primary opponent, I think, was about $100,000, somewhere in there. Jarchow, again, this is just the first 6 months of this year, it was around $800,000 or something like that. What was your takeaway when you saw that? I mean, were you like, holy cow, that was like fantastic? Is that, with 3 weeks left of the election, I think 3 weeks from today, is that that's a great thing? That's going to give us a lot of momentum, or whatever?
Yeah, no, I was thrilled with that number. It's going to give us the opportunity to get our message out. If you looked at the varying finance reports, what was really heartening to me is we raised about the same amount of money as Kevin Nicholson, of course, who was running for governor. So raising that kind of money in an attorney general primary is really, really fantastic. And, it speaks to the statewide nature of our campaign and how we're getting our message out and connecting with voters. And I feel very good that over the next 3 weeks, we've actually raised quite a bit more money since that reporting period. So over the next few weeks, we'll be able to really get our message out on TV and radio and other means. And I feel really good about where things are at. It's great. So that is actually a positive question. Good job, Ben.
All right. I'll take that. Yeah, because I think you're pretty much on like this show right now, like the three of us, is basically the Adam Jarchow fanboy club. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
My kids like me too, so okay. There's that.
Well, all right. We'll send them we'll put them on our newsletter. All right.
Perfect.
Adam, thanks so much for jumping on. That's awesome.
Yeah. Adam, thanks for what you do. Keep doing it, and good luck in the next 3 weeks. And we're cheering for you up here.
Yeah, go to
his
guys.
Website.
Chip in a few bucks for all the gas.
Stay safe out there, Sheriff.
The state.
Yeah, we will. Thanks.
Well, look at that. I tell you. Now how do I get back to where I was?
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
Publish back to live
Yeah,
mode.
look at that.
Is that back?
Yep. You're looking good.
Oh my goodness. I'm getting a little better at this. Hey, that was pretty awesome.
That was cool.
Adam just jumps on. Yep. So that's so the reason how that happens is we've talked about that before. When I send a link out for someone to come on a show, I'm advised to, like, every few weeks generate a different unique link. Otherwise, every person that I've ever sent a link to over the last don't think I've refreshed it in like 2 years, means that they could just click and just join the show at any time. So Adam so far is the only one that has guest bombed us. He's done it twice now.
We'll have to get Mike Schaefer, Dave Wilson. We can get all those guys.
See, that's just it. They all have that same link.
You look like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So I want to get back to kind of where we were, I think. And there was a question in here about Narcan. There it is. What's the shelf life usually? I'm assuming it was about Narcan.
Just over a year and a half. There's an expiration date on them that we have to read. So Kurt's right. It's a budget thing, and luckily we don't Narcan very often here yet. And again, I say yet because I have a fear that we're going to start Narcaning more and more people. But it has a year and a half shelf life, and then it has to be replaced. And obviously in law enforcement and the medical field and the firefighters, we can't just say, it's still good. We're going to, keep her for 2 years and just, run our course. You can't do that. And so it's kind of like our bulletproof vests. They expire at 5 years. We can't say, let's stretch it. Yeah, they expire every 5 years. We have to buy a new one.
Why? Come on, why?
Because the material can deteriorate.
Isn't it made out of, things that stop bullets? How is that going to deteriorate in 5 years? I think you're getting the shaft there, buddy.
Those guys sweat a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is somewhat of a manufacturer game. But what are you going to say? They don't cover it after 5 years. So obviously, now we've shot vests that have been 20 years old and they've stopped bullets. Don't get me wrong.
It's made out of what is it made out of? Like Kevlar or whatever that stuff's called.
Kevlar. Yeah. But it can deteriorate, they say, after time. And like you said, the washing and the sweating and the. So you got to buy a new one every 5 to 7 years. I actually think because we're trying to get it expanded. Actually, the FBI did a big study on it. Blah blah blah. And they're trying to push the manufacturers to go to like 7 years because, like I said, we've shot vests that are 20 years old that have. So, but yeah, everything expires, and when it has an expiration date, you can't just say, it's still good. When it comes to saving lives.
Yeah, but how much are those things? Because they're like because each one, if my understanding is right, like each one is tailored to the person.
The vest? Oh, the vest costs about $800 to $1,000.
Oh, I thought there were more.
No.
But still,
the SWAT vests run about $3,000 for.
That's the one, maybe. So what's the difference between the SWAT and the regular vest?
They're about 20 pounds heavier, and they stop bigger bullets.
Oh.
In the simple terms.
Well, that is.
You don't want to wear the SWAT one around all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, fine. Oof. Okay, so anything else on that topic? Because we can go on to the next article thing.
No, don't do drugs. I mean, it's as simple as that, and
it kind of is. And you were talking about, you kind of, and of course, me always bringing some levity and some humor into trying to, sometimes inappropriately, about how you were kind of getting some comments that weren't real positive and etc. when you're just saying, hey, we're trying to find this person, whatever. It wasn't long ago, actually just 3 weeks ago, we had a similar situation. We did this article, and it was an original article from us. We wrote it, wasn't a press release. And as always, we stick to the facts. And this was something from a couple of years ago. And as you both know, we follow every story to the very end, regardless of the outcome. If it's a jury trial and it's guilty, we report on it. If not guilty, we report on it. If it's even if a case is dismissed, we report that it was dismissed. And someone whom I actually respected, and I still do, but had commented on our Facebook page under that article about, basically kind of calling us out for this person apparently, has found God and has done really well in life and etc. And kind of, how dare you, shaming the person? It's, but I can't, it doesn't matter. I'm super happy that the person found God. Super happy about that. But we can't let that be a deciding factor just because, you're a good person now. Or like you were saying, well, you got kids. Well, I get it, but it's our responsibility to follow that to the very end. And sometimes that's the hard part when you get those comments is like, do you understand? That's our job to do that. Like, it's not personal. It's just that's our job to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Kirk?
People.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Kirk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's hard to imagine being. I always joke with people that I don't ever want to be on Dryden Wire's headline for a negative because the reach is so broad. But I can only imagine that it comes with a little bit of shame and embarrassment. But hopefully, the truth is that it will lead to you getting some help. Like when Chris says that we're going to, put your name out there and put it out there. That shame should lead you to seek help and expose you. But it's got to be difficult. I hope I as mayor, I watch my speed just a little bit closer because we published the names in the paper of the speeders, and I don't ever want to be that guy.
So there was another one here I want to get to. Fitzy was about the convicted sex offender being released, but actually we have a question here from a Troy. I think it's Heichel. I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. So no chatting about putting a housing development on the St. Croix River. That must be a question for you, Kirk, because I have no idea what they're talking. Wait. I think I do know. Is that the one that's like a controversial thing? I see it on Facebook and stuff. That's your town. Great question, Troy.
Troy is a resident of St. Croix Falls, and he's talking about something that he did not support. He was pretty vocal against it. But
what is it? Obviously,
is
housing development, but what's going on?
Yep. So a couple years ago, Polk County had a housing study that showed that the St. Croix Falls area was deficient on housing. And so one of my priorities as mayor has been to provide new opportunities for housing. The St. Croix River runs directly alongside of the city of St. Croix Falls. Mm-hmm. And the majority of that river is protected by the Scenic Rivers Act. And there's a small little portion, it's 600 feet long, that was purchased by the city a number of years ago for development. And it had been for sale for about 4 years. A developer decided they wanted to purchase that and put a housing development of eco-friendly small homes along the river.
About how many did they say?
There were going to be 12 houses, 12. Small footprint, about 1,200 square feet. And they had a beautiful plan that would have preserved the beauty of the river, would have fit in really well, from my opinion. Troy didn't necessarily agree with that, but that's okay.
Fine. Yep.
And so we went through that process, and in that process, some of the residents down there didn't agree with that, and they got their supporters together to.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but you said down there, so
down along the river.
Were these like the kind of the people who are next to that 600-foot area, or was this like mostly just people just around town? But it was kind of mainly the people in that area, like don't build in our area, kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a "don't build in my backyard" mentality down there.
Yeah.
But they were able to get other people to support that. The bottom line with me as an elected official, there's ways that we handle the discussion, and so when we have a discussion, we have open meeting laws in Wisconsin, and so I can't have those discussions with other members of the council on Facebook. So if someone puts something on a Facebook page and I go answer it, and then someone else goes in, suddenly we have a walking quorum, and we're violating state law. So
did you know that, Fitzy? You're a part of all these meetings. Man, I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, so we try and have the meetings inside of the meetings that are posted and scheduled, and so we have a little bit of a disadvantage to being able to talk about things, but the end result is that we had a developer who was very excited to bring a $6 million housing project to the city that would have provided 12 houses. along the river. I think that it would have been a beautiful development. It would have increased the productivity of that area.
Well, and certainly a boon to the economy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, I think so. And so the developer, unfortunately, after the people that were against it started to gain more momentum, the Star Tribune did a story on it, and we started getting a lot of people that jumped on the bandwagon in a very negative way.
Sure.
And the developer reported to us that he was getting some pretty serious threats. And
So he bailed. He bailed, didn't he?
yeah, some of those
I
threats
see.
were property, and I want to be careful about the
Sure.
accusations, but
So
threatening.
there were threats. We'll just leave it
bodily
at
harm.
threats. Sure.
So he decided to take his development and move on to another location. And so
There you
the
go.
city is deciding what we're going to do with that property. We still have a property that's there for development.
I'll buy it. Fitzy and I are going to buy it, and we're going to build a gigantic 600-foot, and there is no small footprint for that. It's one huge building with like 20 air conditioners. And if we can just like dump sewage right into the river, can't we? And we're buying it, and we're going to do our shows from there. It's going to be awesome. How much is it? You said $6 million they were going to do, huh?
Well, $6 million was the total price the developer was going to do. And
That's what we're doing, Fitzy.
Yeah. So we haven't decided how we're going to move forward with that, but it's something that the city's not interested in housing. The unique thing about St. Croix Falls is we have an incredibly beautiful area, but 50% of our city is untaxable because we have a national park in our city. We have a state park in our city. We have acres and acres of city parks. And then you have your senior housing, your churches, and things like that are all nonprofits. So consequently, the big complaint that I hear is, man, I love the city, but my goodness, is my taxes so high? Well, that's because we don't share that burden with
Right.
new businesses and new residents.
That would have been a good one. That would have been a good one.
Yeah. So the $6 million,
Sure.
leaving that off the table, that's about a $40,000 to $50,000 a year tax benefit to the city that would have been tax relief for the citizens of St. Croix Falls. So, yeah, I have no problem.
Fitzy, you had a question?
Yeah, no, and you need housing. I mean, that's the problem. We have the same
Everywhere.
thing in Barron County.
Yeah.
We need housing, and Troy's just taking a shot, which I think is pretty cheap. Anyway, I said
Well,
it.
I mean, I don't think so. That wasn't that cheap of a I mean,
Yeah, it was. He won. He just wants him to talk about it, and I think that's not, and so that's not very positive for our show. But Kurt explained it very well. But no one wants this stuff in their backyard. Everybody wants us to build
somewhere
and
else.
have new business.
Yeah, it's like kids. Like I like my kids. I don't like your kids. I like my kids. So like, yeah, I want more housing, just not like next to my house.
Right. And so, I mean, and so Troy's group, and I'm not saying Troy headed it up, whatever. I mean, they won, and now they just want to talk about it some more, and that's not the way to do business. And so, but I appreciate it, Kurt. But again, you're doing everything you can. We want to build more housing in Rice Lake. It's tough. You can't find developers that want to do it. And when you find one, and they run them out of town.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my words, not yours. I mean, that's my words. And
I'll echo those words as well. They totally ran them out of town. I mean, the Star Tribune just doesn't randomly pick up the story. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm in the media. They would not have known about this unless somebody contacted and they thought this would be a great story.
You got to have housing. We got to have more housing. I mean, if all of these businesses are going to close because they can't find workers. I mean, we're running into that all over. So housing is big, and then I hope this group finds a different place to bring housing into St. Croix County.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, was there a plan B there? And we'll leave it with this. Just last question on this is just, I have no problem. Like, even if somebody says something that we shouldn't do or should do on Dryden Way, or let's say it's like something that, I don't like this. Great. So what's your answer? What should we do then? So this is housing. We don't want this housing. So do you have a plan? Was there a plan presented as an option? What we could do? Was there one of those?
No, that's never up to the people that are against something. They just want to stop it because it was in their and it's a much broader issue that I won't get into detail, but it really comes down to not in my backyard. If you can believe it, when we had Quick Trip come and propose a gas station in our city, we had people that were not happy about that too.
They should live in Spooner. Like, it's a tiny town, and we're literally building a second Quick Trip in Spooner, which is just like 3 blocks away from the other one.
Right. The only ones excited about it were the cops. Apparently they have really good.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, pretty soon it's going to be Welcome to Spooner, Wisconsin, presented by Quick Trip.
Quick Trip.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. That gives us more money. So let's put a pin in that one. I want to get back to this one last thing here, Fitzy. Convicted sex offender to be released in Barron County. There was a bulletin that was sent out yesterday. We put that up. We've talked about these before. It's going to be, I think, July 26th. So about a week from now in Cameron, I believe. Anything you wanted to add to that?
No, we're just making the citizens aware. He's not wanted. He's not anything, but I just want to make people aware. It's in a rural area. We've screened the area. I mean, not that any area is,
I get it.
But, and it could be unsafe. I just want people to make aware of it. And there's options, if they see him out, that we release his picture so that if they see him somewhere at a park or something, they're like, hey, that guy shouldn't be around kids. And so we just want to make the people aware, because awareness is how we make good decisions.
Yeah. So did you get any? When you sent that, we put it up on Dryden Wire. I don't know. I didn't go to your page yesterday. Did you put it out on the Sheriff's Department's Facebook page?
We're going to release it on our Facebook page on Monday.
Okay.
To make people.
So I'm just kind of curious, because one of those. That's where it's always interesting. Going back to what we're talking about, that some people comment, and it's like they comment on some things, but they're perfectly fine with another thing, like most things, until it's like somebody I know.
Or it's in my backyard.
It's in my backyard.
You can release a sex offender, but not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard. Hey, I just thought of something. We got a 600-foot lot in Polk County we can start sending all these people to. See, solves both problems. We get some grants, some funding.
Ben, you're not helping.
When do I ever?
Oh, my.
Exactly.
All right. Well, since we're at 45 minutes now, and that's usually how long we go with Adam live bombing us. We didn't get a chance to talk about a couple of other things, but is there anything, before I ask you what you guys have coming up this week, anything that you did want to make sure we talked about that we didn't get a chance to? Kirk, go ahead.
I think that the summer is moving really fast, and the Barron County Fair is coming up real soon. At the end of July is the Polk County Fair. And I would love to invite both of you out to come. You don't have to wear your uniform, Chris, if you don't want to. If you just want to go around and enjoy a fair without everybody wanting to shake your hand and tell you their problems. But the two highlights for me are Wanigan Days and then the Polk County Fair. Both are fantastic opportunities just to get out there and enjoy the summer. And then after that, it starts going towards the tail end of summer, and it's just, how fast can we go camping or get out and enjoy family. But we have a great couple of months left. So don't waste it inside. Get out and do something.
I was going to say the opposite of that, but okay. Kirk gave us a weather update there.
Yep.
So I did hear about there's going to be some storms. I think maybe today, like randomly, and could be bad in our area. You guys heard about that?
No, Dirk would tell us about it.
Dirk, well, he says right there, showers, storms today. So keep an eye out. All right,
yeah, we'll be okay.
Fitzy, is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to make sure got brought up?
Our misting tent is out at the fair. I'm going to go turn that on right after this.
Your what?
It's a misting tent. We purchased it 5 years ago from the hospital in Rice Lake. We went together and bought this, and it shoots down this mist, so you walk in and it cools you right down. It's
called a shower.
Thing. It's called a misting tent, and you don't get wet. You don't get wet. You just cool off. You walk out dry, but it mists you, and it's the coolest thing. We've had it for like 5 years, and it's going to be used a lot this weekend.
And where is it going? Does it get moved around, or is it in one permanent location?
No, it gets moved around. It's a blow-up thing. It's really neat. We can take it anywhere we want to.
Yeah, at Wanigan Days, it was in the 90s, and one of our local ice cream shops, Valley Sweets, had misting. They put up like the little refrigerator type hosing with the little misters on there. And so walking through there, it was suddenly you're 10, 20 degrees cooler, and it just became like a hangout spot for everybody. They would just stand under the mist. It was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding. And everybody is commenting right now. Love the mist tent. Well, that's cool. Funny.
Yeah.
I want one. Yeah, no kidding. And by the way, Kirk, we don't bring up ice cream stands on the show because the only good ice cream stand that we all know is Matt's ice cream stand in Shell Lake.
That's a long drive, though.
Well, tough luck. You know, it's even better than a misting stand or misting thing is if you go to get ice cream at Matt's ice cream stand, that's in Shell Lake, is right next to the beach. Just go down there and jump in the water.
Have you ever had a pie shake? Because that's what I'm having every day starting tomorrow.
Never even
They put a whole piece of pie.
Oh, gross.
A whole piece of pie and ice cream, and they mix it together. It's the greatest thing at the Barron County Fair. It's a pie shake. Get one from the 4-H kids, and it supports our youth, and you get the pie shake. I'll have two a day.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
It's awesome. So, and don't forget about the Donut Dash. We also,
So we're on the now coming up. So, Fitzy, what do you have coming up this week?
The Barron County Fair. That's the only thing going on in my life. 8 in the morning till 10 at night every day. I love the fair. I'll be
Every
there for 5
day?
days.
No, not every day. Isn't it just the
all
weekend?
5 days.
I didn't know.
5 days.
Jeepers, I didn't know that.
5 days of the Barron County Fair. But on Saturday, we do have our Donut Dash. We also honor all of the fallen officers. We'll be honoring 158 fallen officers from July to July. So they'll all wear a sticker. All of our runners will wear a sticker on their shirt that honors a fallen officer that Jen, our dispatcher, takes care of and prints for everybody. So they'll be honoring that. We'll get donuts in the middle. And it's a great morning along the lake. It's the course. It's awesome. Just hope to see everybody out at the Barron County Fair. Troy.
I don't think Troy liked our discussion at all. But you know what? I'll tell you what, Troy. I do appreciate you putting in that dash.
Yeah.
That was very nice of you. I appreciate
That's not very positive. He's not very positive.
Well, that's fine.
And he got a great explanation. Come on. I mean,
Your mayor is actually on. You asked a question on a live show, or not really. You didn't really ask a question. And the mayor talked about it. I mean, jeepers.
And he did too. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Troy.
I mean, that's just wrong.
That's bush league, dude. Yep. All right, Kirk, what do you have coming up this week? I'm assuming you're going to be fielding some phone calls from some citizens in Polk County, but after that...
Yeah, no, I first I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to future ones if you invite me back. This week is going to be some family time, and I didn't see Chris there, but I did have a chance to speak at the National Sheriff's Convention down in Kansas City, and I hung out with Brent Walk from Polk County for the week. Had a great time. Disappointed not to see Chris.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep bringing that up. That's kind of also bush league, dude.
That was going to be the highlight of my week, was to hang out with the two coolest sheriffs around. But that was a lot of fun. So I do have a little catch up from that, and then from a little family vacation. So a lot of my summer is just going to be typing away on a computer and editing video. So it's a good time. It's a good time to
stay inside.
Yeah, right, I do like air conditioning, but got to get out there.
Yeah.
City of trails.
The only reason I go outside is just to have a cigar. That's it. Yeah, and I will have this Friday, Will Martin will be back. Republican running for Lieutenant Governor. He's been on before, and yeah, I'm a total fanboy of Will Martin, but he scheduled this from it was a few months ago. He wanted to come back on before, so that'll be on Friday. Otherwise, just work. So sweet. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy. Have a good week. See you at the fair.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk.
Yep. Beautiful day. Have a great one.
You got it. A special thank you to our good friend and friend of the show, firefighter, first responder, business owner, and the most popular mayor in St. Croix Falls history, I believe is what it was written down here. Kirk Anderson, for joining us for today's show. I suppose we should also say thank you to Adam Jarchow for jumping on live bombing us. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. Nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. So give them a call today. Number's right there on the screen. Thank you to everyone who shared positive comments, we'll say, because as we all know... What?
I bet he didn't like Adam. It had nothing to do with Kirk. I bet you didn't like Adam.
Just put him in a bad mood. Right. Well, it's the little things that make a big difference. Don't forget that. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a blessed day.